Hey everybody, Chubby Shadow here. Today's video I wanted to talk about different haunted places that I have been to. So without further ado, let's get to it. Forks of Cypress in Florence, Alabama. And this place was a forced labor cotton farm. This private property houses the infamous Ghost Bridge that has numerous claims of hauntings. People claim to hear singing and voices in the area surrounding the property, and some claim they have seen the apparition of a woman walking the grounds. One of those people would be me. I did indeed see what looked like a woman with a time period type piece dress. It was white and flowy, and she seemed to be kind of floating on top of the grass. So I was there late at night. I was in my early I was about 19 actually. I wasn't in my early 20s. But it was kind of freaky, and it was the mid 90s, and I was just like, nope, bye. Ghost Bridge. So this was actually called Jackson Ford Bridge, and they have demolished it as of 2013. So there were several rumors as to why it was called Ghost Bridge by the locals. Some say the eerie white mist that rises up from the creek also gave rise to the name. Others claim a runaway slave was hanged from the bridge during the Civil War. Now, I personally did not get the heebie-jeebies or feel like there was anything around like I did when I had other experiences, but there was a lot of old about this bridge that, you know, if you looked at it wrong, you could probably tell your brain that you saw something hanging or whatever. I'm not downplaying anyone else's experiences, but yeah, it could look like someone was hanging. Okay, and someone says, in 2001, I saw a soldier walk through the parking lot into the woods at Ghost Bridge. I'm not sure if he was a soldier, but he was a light in the shape of a person wearing a hat. Shiloh National Military Park in Tennessee. The 1862 Battle of Shiloh meant death for thousands of soldiers, several of whom are rumored to still haunt the battlefield. Many tales and legends surround the battlefield, and visitors may see apparitions and hear phantom gunshots, drumming, footsteps, and voices. The nearby pond is said to occasionally turn red, a phantom repeat occurrence from the blood of the dead soldiers and horses who once lay in the water. So that, all of it is true. The pond there is called Bloody Pond, and if you go there for some reason, I don't know why, I can't remember, so many people told me this, but if you go on a Friday night at midnight, the pond is red, and nobody goes in there and puts color in there. It just will sit there and turn red before your eyes. I'm sure there were other days where it turned red, but it would just do that, and it's pretty freaky. I went there a few times. My now ex-husband took me there before I left Washington because he said, wow, there's a whole lot you have not seen, let me take you. And so we went to Shiloh, and I went to these cabins where you had to climb a ladder. They were up high, so if there was flooding or flash floods, they wouldn't, be affected. And I climbed up a ladder, and they had plexiglass covering, what used to be the doors. And I was looking in there, and I just heard, talking in my ears. I can't remember what something said to me, but it freaked me out. I tried to climb the ladder back down to the ground real quick, and I tripped over myself and fell, a couple of steps off the ladder. onto my butt. And just like at the dead of night, you can hear cannons. So that right there was enough to make me a believer. Anyway, so yeah, the testimonials are true, and it's not a rumor. But what do you expect from a place with mass death? Okay, and this person named Martha says, my grandmother lived next to the cemetery when she was a girl. She reported that someone was sitting on their gate, and it made her brother mad. So he threw a punch at the guy, and it just went right through him. She and her two brothers witnessed this. This picture says it's dated for June 14th, 2017, and it says, took this yesterday, saw a shadow, and got a pic of it. Looked like a person where the bridge once was. Look at the left-hand corner. Up next, we have Northern State Hospital, located in Cedro-Woolley, Washington. Northern State Mental Hospital opened in 1912 and was said to be the site of many deaths, at least partially due to experimental transorbital lobotomies. It operated as a hospital until 1976, and today the site holds a job corps and a drug rehab center, and some ghosts. A prankster ghost nicknamed Fred has been known in the past to toss sheets and bedpans. Witnesses have seen apparitions of a man and a little girl with a red ball and a nurse hanging from a noose. Cold spots and other anomalies have been reported here as well. The site has been featured on an episode of TV's Ghost Hunters. So, this is one of the worst bad energy spots I have ever been in. It's got like this force field of bad energy. It's a lot like how I felt when that shadow person peeked around the corner. It is not a nice place. I went here for my first and last official ghost hunting group, if you will. We had permission by the guy who was running it, and we started to walk in, and I walked outside and I cleansed myself. It was not good. From there's so many things that I saw and felt that I honestly cannot remember at all, and it is a blur. I did not see a girl with a red ball and a nurse hanging from a noose, though I know that kind of stuff has happened. So, like I said, my experience is not someone else's experience, and their experience is not mine. I just will tell you that I cannot believe they had kept that building open for anything else. When you torture a human being, animal, etc., a living being, you will have nothing but dread and awful, awful yuck in that building. Even when you take the building down, you just, no, that place is just gone. You need to have native cleansing, you need to have drums, all of that, shaman, etc. I don't even know if that could help that place. It's horrible. Nothing really happened. I think I may have caught a few shadow people, like the tail end of them, but I just really, it was mostly the feeling of that place, and it was not good. So that was my experience at Northern State Hospital, and I will never volunteer to go back. I don't know what I was thinking. I was spiritually dumb at the time. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that part of my life. Anyway, yeah, so scary place. I don't suggest anyone go in unless you are investigating for a reason. Okay, so experiences by other people. Jennifer says, I went to Job Corps in Cedar-Woolley, Washington, and the drive to there was creepy, but when you got to Job Corps, it felt like you were being watched. My time there for 6 months in '97 were anything but peaceful. I heard loud noises, and I had a feeling I was never alone when I was in a room by myself. I also didn't feel safe there. You cannot pay me to go back there. Athena says, when I went to Job Corps in late October 15, December 2015, I experienced being scratched, shadow people, a voice saying, come play with me, and being growled at. I got feelings of sadness and anger. I hear ya. Winchester Mystery House, located in San Jose, California. The eccentric Sarah Winchester, builder of the Winchester Mystery House, is said to have built the rambling mansion to protect her from the ghosts of all the people who were killed by her late husband's famous Winchester line of rifles. In a strange turn of events, is she who is said to haunt the home now. The site has been featured on the TV show Ghost Adventures. So I didn't really, I think I was about 11 or 12 when my family and my cousin, who was only 6 months apart from me, went to see this place. And we really didn't, I didn't really deal with a lot of haunting stuff back then. But my experience there was when we were looking over the kitchen. We were at the tail end of the tour. There was no one behind us, but we didn't know that. And my hair got flipped up, and my cousin got touched, and someone, they were very short though, so I'm 5'10", and this thing was well below the back of my neck, so about shoulder blade height. That would probably put them between 4'8" and 5'1", I guess. So anyway, they flipped my hair up, and I heard, get on out of here. And we were like, haha, who's doing that? Turn around, there was no one there. So we ran and caught up to the tour. But that was my experience at Winchester Mystery House around 11 or 12 years old. Okay, so here's somebody's experience at Winchester, and I really had to laugh at this one because I couldn't believe that someone else had something kind of similar to mine. I don't know. I guess it was kind of nice to know that I wasn't alone. It says, I have a friend that told me she took a group tour with her mother when she was younger. In one of the bedrooms, she felt someone behind her part her hair and put it on her shoulders. She looked back angrily, expecting to see her mother playing a practical joke, but realized she was in the very back of the tour and no one was behind her. Imagine that. Last but not least, we have Alcatraz. The former maximum security prison, set on an island, is now a museum and tourist attraction. Visitors and tour guides alike have reported unexplained screams, slamming cell doors, banjo music, and footsteps. The site has been investigated by both ghost hunters and ghost lab. So my experience at Alcatraz, I was about 12 or 13. And it was overall not very welcoming. You felt like you were being watched. And basically how it worked was The ferry dropped us off and left us. So that was scary enough, but to just like feel like you're being watched and you don't know by who, that was really freaky. So we did a Walkman tour. That was a tape with a Walkman, and the interview was done by an old guard that worked there. So this is like 88 or 89, and so you just walk around the prison with your Walkman on, and he kind of, tells you start here and we'll walk around, and so you're doing all that. So like I said before with Winchester, I hadn't really dealt with hauntings, so it was kind of like, okay, whoa, what's going on? But I can tell you there's shadow people at Alcatraz, and I really didn't realize what was going on. I got tapped on the shoulder, and there was an area called the Hole, but it was not open to us. You could look over there, though. It was roped off, and that was not a nice place. So basically a pretty scary place to be, and just gives you the yucks. Alright, so an experience from Nanette says, my school went there for a field trip when I was in grade school. We did hear the sound of cell doors closing, but thought it was a show put on for us. We were asked if we wanted to go into the Hole, the dark room where there's no light or windows. I was terrified. I don't know why, but as we were walking in, I felt absolute fear, and I did not want to go in. It was cold and scary. I do believe it was the paranormal, because I felt as if I was being pushed out of the room. Okay, and Lance says, my friends and I visited this place several times. They have a lot of areas blocked off now, but as we were walking, one of my friends suddenly bumped into one of the cell bars. He was pushed really hard out of nowhere. We all freaked out. When we went to the gift shop, there was another man who claimed to be pushed as well. Apparently there is a ghost of an inmate that likes to push people who visit a certain area. Regardless, we also felt a strong sense of sadness, like a deep depression just overcomes you. We left after a couple of hours on the island. It was fun and interesting. Alright, well, thank you for taking the time to come by and listen to my experiences. I really appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.